Hi everyone, so I just finished my third week of nursing school and I'm going into my fourth week, actually tomorrow. So I just wanted to make a quick video with how the past 2 weeks have been since I did a video on my first week of nursing school. And this week it really hit me that I am in nursing school. It was a crazy week. I spent it was 30 hours of time just in class and lab. And it was a short week too, so we didn't have class on Monday because it was Labor Day. So we had between Tuesday to Friday, we had 30 hours in class and lab. And we had our first exam and our first check off. So it has been a crazy hectic week, and somehow I did not have a mental breakdown, although I did have a mental breakdown yesterday because I got 2 points off of a paper because it can only be a 1-page summary, and it was on my computer, and then my instructor on her computer, it showed as like the last 2 things that I needed for my paper were on the second page, I guess. Somehow it showed up that way. And so I had a mental breakdown because I was like, oh my gosh, like I got 2 points off for nothing. Like it was just the way that it showed up on her computer. So I emailed her back and hopefully it will be resolved, but I'm thinking that it probably won't be. But yeah, so this week it has just been it just really hit me that nursing school is actually going on, and I realized how fast it's already going by because I'm already getting ready to start my 4th week of nursing school, and it feels like I just started. So, I mean, I did just start, but you know, it just feels like it's going really fast already. So, for my first exam, it was Tuesday at 9 a.m. It was 50 questions, and I did, my preliminary grade is an 86, which is passing in nursing school. One of my instructors said 80 equals RN, 80 equals RN, and that's her motto, is the bare minimum you need is an 80, so anything over that is good. And so how they did it was we took our test, and then even though it was online and we could like already get a score for how our grade what our grade would be, or even just around how our grade would be, they muted it so that we couldn't see. So then on Wednesday, the next day, we went over the exam. Like it was like a silent thing to where the teacher, they pulled up our exam, and then it had the test question, the correct answer, and then the reasoning. And it took an hour to get through the 50 questions because they were reading them off. But I just kept counting the ones that I got wrong, and then the ones that I thought I might have gotten wrong, but I could have gotten right. So I had an idea of what my score would be. And then they have to where we have a week to fight a test question. So like if we think that what we put is right and you have evidence to back it up, you could get 3 peer-reviewed articles and like to show that your answer and reasoning is correct. And then 2 other instructors from second year, since I'm in first year, will look at it and say, okay, yeah, it makes sense, and they'll give it to you in the rest of the class, or like, no, like, thanks for playing, like, that's what they said. So yeah, my score could go up if someone decides to fight a question that I got wrong, but I doubt that they will. So yeah, and then after our first exam, we had a 3-hour break, and then we had class for 3 hours. So that was a difficult class to get through because all I could think about was the test, since I didn't even have an idea of what I got. Besides, oh, I think I might have done okay, or I don't know. Like, I honestly had no idea how I did. So yeah, and then Wednesday we had class for 3 hours, and then we had like a 3-hour thing where we went out into the rest of the building and practiced vital signs on people. So that was fun. And then Thursday we had our first check off, which was on vital signs. And I felt very confident going into it because I had been practicing, and I mean, it's a pretty easy check off because you just take temperature, you just make sure you're washing your hands, and that type of thing, and all the things they want you to be able to do for like just generally interacting with the patient, checking the wristband, that type of thing. And then taking their pulse and respirations, and then taking their blood pressure. So I'll just be completely honest. I did not pass my blood pressure check off because I read the blood pressure wrong. So my partner that I was doing it with, her normal blood pressure is normal, but she was so stressed out and with the checkoff that it was 138 over 98, but I said 138 over 78 because I read it wrong. I was super nervous, and so I have to go redo it this upcoming week, which is not a big deal, but I really wanted to just get it off of my plate and be done with it. So that was a little frustrating, but it's okay. It's all good. It's not like I get graded on it. It's just a satisfactory, you passed or no. And so yeah, that's not a big deal. So I'm just going to take that and learn from it, and that's just kind of what you have to do in nursing school. You have to take what you get and roll with it. And then Friday we had lab all day long. So how I practiced for my first exam was my nursing school does Evolve or Elsevier, like you get the Elsevier package, and then so most of our textbooks are Elsevier, which I can show you. This is our textbook that we're going through right now, Fundamentals of Nursing. And our first exam was actually over 11 chapters, so that was fun. And then Elsevier has a program called, or their website, I don't even know. They have a program, Evolve, which you can do adaptive quizzing on. And you can also watch videos for your checkoffs, like how to do it properly, like correctly, they'll show you. So yeah, I mainly studied on Evolve. I did over 5 hours of questions for the chapters. And so adaptive quizzing is how the NCLEX style questions are. So like they gradually get harder, that type of thing. And it was really helpful because you answered, there's different levels. There's level 1 through 3. And the level 3 questions are the types of questions that they say are going to be on your exams. But as you are answering your questions, even if you get it wrong, or even if you get it right, it gives you a reasoning of why the question is right, which is helpful because if you just guessed and you got it right, and then you can read the reasoning and everything. So that was helpful. And then it kind of gave me an idea of how the questions would be, because it's like a totally different ball game going into nursing school, and the way that the test questions are, and they're preparing you to take the NCLEX and all of that good stuff. So that was the main way I studied. And then another thing that I would highly suggest, which I know is a pain in the butt, but before class, you'll most likely have the chapters that you need to read. So read the chapters and then outline them, or take like full-on notes on them. And then during class the next day, then you can go through and you can add what the teacher says is important, or highlight it, however you want to do it. And then you can also know what they're talking about first and foremost. And you can also ask questions on the things you didn't understand while you were reading, which is super helpful, because if you're sitting in class and you have no idea anyways, then it's not any help going to class. So yeah, that is one of the ways that I found super helpful, because I already had an idea, and then the information as the instructor was going over it was processing in my head some more. And then by the time I got home to do the Evolve quizzes on the chapter that we went over, or chapters that we went over that day, I already knew the information. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that, like reading that and then talking about it, that type of thing. So yeah, there's that. And then two of the things that I find the most frustrating about nursing school is, number one, we hardly get any points we get no points or hardly any points for any of the assignments that we do outside of the tests, because nursing school is mainly based on tests. So, for example, all of my grades in the grade book so far are either 0 out of 0 or you could get up to 6 points. So, and then the exams are 100 points. So you really see that the exams weigh how you do in nursing school, which is it's really stressful. Because you have to do good on the exams in order to do good in school. The next thing that's most frustrating is the instructors definitely don't baby you, which I mean is understandable, but you have to learn their expectations. So, for example, one of our assignments, we had to write a summary on a peer-reviewed article, and they said it doesn't have to be in APA format or anything yet, whatever. I went ahead and put it in APA format just for practice, number one, and number two, I was like, well, just in case, there won't be any excuse to get points off. So some of my classmates did not double space it, and they got major points off for it. So, yeah, and even though they said there was no format we had to follow or anything, I guess double spacing is part of grammar. I didn't know that. So yeah, there's that. And then also, for our checkoff, we had to have our papers already stapled in a certain way, and we already had to have it signed and dated, even though they didn't specifically say that before we went to our checkoffs. So some of the students in my nursing class were getting yelled at for that. I already had it done because I am just organized that way, and if I didn't have it done, it would be stressing me out. So there's that. Oh, another thing that I didn't write down on my note card, because I keep this so I can stay on track, is, oh my gosh, if I am not, it's just very frustrating because this is just the way that I am. If I'm not working on something, I feel like I need to be working on something. Even if I was working on stuff all day, I feel like I constantly need to be doing something to be productive with nursing school. And so that's really stressful because I really never give myself a break. And so that's something that I'm still learning how to do. And that's something that I suggest that you learn how to do early on, is give yourself breaks and give yourself grace. Because nursing school is already stressful as it is, and you need a break from it. So, yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it for my third week of nursing school. I'll show you guys this. This is our schedule for September. The blue highlighted stuff is our checkoffs, and the red is our exams, and we have the hours and stuff like that. So, I know this video is a bit long. Hopefully that was helpful in one way or another, and I wish you all luck with nursing school, whether you are already in it or you're getting into it or whatever. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. So have a nice day.